Good evening and welcome to the St. Charles Parish Council meeting on Monday, January 12, 2026 at 6 p.m. in the council chambers in the parish courthouse. Please silence all electronic devices and remove all hats. This meeting is called to order with a prayer in the Pledge of Allegiance from Pastor Zachary Adams with Lord's House Community Church in Luling. Please stand.
How you doing? I'm so sorry. Bow your heads with me. Father God, we thank you for tonight, Father. Father, I just pray, God, over this meeting tonight, Lord. I just pray that your presence would be here, Lord. Father, I pray that in every decision made, in every discussion, Father, that you would be at the center of it. Father, I pray that in everything that is done and decided, Father, it'd be for the betterment of your people, Father. Lord, I pray, God, that you give them every bit of wisdom and knowledge that they need, Lord. Father, we thank you for this, God. We thank you, God, that we even have a government like this, Father, that we have a place, Father, that is here, Father, to help its people, Father, just to continue to grow, Father, and to help us to be better. Lord, we pray over everything, God. We give it all to you in the name of your Son, Jesus. Amen. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Thank you, Pastor Adams. Approval of minutes. A motion and a second are needed to approve the minutes from the regular meeting of December 15th, 2025. We've got a motion by Mr. Brouillet and a second by Ms. Skiba. Please cast your votes. Special business, proclamations, canvass returns. 2026-0001. In recognition, Councilwoman Holly Fonseca, 2025 Council Chairman. I get the pleasure of reading this. Parish of St. Charles, January 12, 2026. In recognition of service, the St. Charles Parish Council deeply appreciates your year of commitment as Council Chairman of the St. Charles Parish Council. Holly Fonseca, January 6, 2025 to January 11th, 2026. And Ms. Fonseca is right here to accept.
Thank you, Chairman Pillier. I just wanted to thank all of my fellow council members for entrusting me to be the chairman last year. I enjoyed the experience, and y'all made it relatively easy on me, I must say. So thank you very much.
Next, 2026-0002 in recognition, Councilman Walter Pillier, 2025 Council Vice Chairman, Mr. Brouillet.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I have the honor of recognizing Mr. Walter Pillier, the Parish of St. Charles, in recognition of service. The St. Charles Parish Council deeply appreciates your year of commitment as Council Vice Chairman of the St. Charles Parish Council. Walter Pillier, January 6, 2025 through January 11th, 2026.
that was the easiest job I've ever done, I think. I didn't get to run one meeting. I'm here as a backup, and Ms. Fonseca was a perfect attendance, so I was there as a backup, and you didn't need me, so that's a good thing. Thank you. Thank you all. Okay, next one, 2026-0003, proclamation, Martin Luther King Jr. Day. Ms. Wilson.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Whereas it is appropriate that on January 19th, 2026, we celebrate and offer special recognition to Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. for his unselfish, nonviolent dedication to the civil rights movement. And whereas we recognize that his fortitude and dedication to the civil rights movement has carved a place for Dr. King in history for all races as a continual fight for freedom, equality, and justice. And whereas Dr. King, born in Atlanta, ordained a Baptist minister in 1954, received his doctorate from Boston University in 1955, received the 1964 Nobel Peace Prize, and became a leader of the U.S. civil rights, spoke from his heart on August 28, 1963, on the steps of the Lincoln Memorial, when he gave his famous speech, "I Have a Dream." And whereas Dr. King's words rang out across America and became deeply rooted in the American dream that we will follow the true meaning of the words of Abraham Lincoln, we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, the true dream of Dr. King. And whereas Dr. King was assassinated on a balcony of the Lorraine Hotel in Memphis, Tennessee, on April 4, 1968, marking the passage of history and the understanding that Dr. King did not die in vain, but whose leadership and dreams will live on through history with the yearly celebration throughout the United States as a day of remembrance. So, in remembrance of the contribution of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. as a leader of the civil rights movement, we, the members of the St. Charles Parish Council and the parish president, do hereby proclaim January 19, 2026 as Martin Luther King Jr. Day in St. Charles Parish. Mr. Dwayne LaGrange won't be able to be here to accept, so is there anyone here from the Martin Luther King organization? With that being said, I don't see it, so that organization will receive this proclamation in the mail. Thank you.
Move on. Okay, 2026-0019, proclamation, Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated Founders Day. Mr. Jewell.
Thank you, Chairman. Proclamation. Whereas Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated is a historically black sorority founded on January 13, 1913 by 22 visionary college-educated women at Howard University in Washington, D.C., with a steadfast dedication to public service and a focus on programs that uplift and support the black community. And whereas Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated has clearly distinguished itself as a public service organization that boldly confronts the challenges of African Americans and hence all Americans. And whereas the sorority has grown to include more than 350,000 members across 1,000 chapters worldwide, and whereas the River Parish's alumni chapter, RPAC, of the Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated serves the community of St. James, St. John the Baptist, and St. Charles Parish. And whereas Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated implements impactful initiatives focusing on economic development, educational development, international awareness, and involvement, physical and mental health, the political awareness and involvement. And whereas through their unwavering commitment to sisterhood, scholarship, and service, RPAC has been instrumental in advancing the well-being of local citizens by offering impactful programs and initiatives that address key needs and foster positive change. And whereas RPAC's programs include hosting annual scholarship awards for high school students, supporting STEM education and financial literacy initiatives, organizing community resource fairs, and facilitating voter registration drives and civic engagement activities. And whereas RPAC is also dedicated to the health and equity by consistently raising awareness about critical issues such as breast cancer prevention, diabetes prevention, AIDS and HIV, mental health, and healthy living. And whereas RPAC is committed to international service as well through programs that support global initiatives such as partnering to provide resources for disaster relief efforts and supporting educational opportunities for children in underserved countries. Now, therefore, be it resolved that we, the members of the St. Charles Parish Council, and the Parish President do hereby proclaim January 2026 as the month of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated Founders Day here in St. Charles Parish to honor and celebrate their extraordinary legacy, service, and impact of the Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. Here to accept is Miss Sheena Diggs, as well as the River Parish Alumni Chapter. And our Councilwoman, Lysandra Gordon.
Get on up there. Y'all gotta squeeze in, huh?
I'll stand in the back.
Easily done.
You might miss it, Matt. Stand straight.
All right.
Good evening. My name is Sheena Diggs, and I'm the current president of River Parish's Alumni Chapter of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. We were chartered on March 23rd, 2013. I just lost my notes, sorry.
1913.
Okay. We were chartered on March 23rd, 2013, and in our almost 13 years of servicing St. Charles, St. John, and St. James parishes, we have upheld the tenets of our grand chapter, Delta Sigma Theta, which tomorrow celebrates our 113 years of scholarship, sisterhood, and service. You may ask, how have we been of service to St. Charles Parish? Although President Jewell already told y'all a lot about it. We have awarded scholarships to graduating seniors who reside in the parish, and will attend a 4-year university. Last year was our first year offering a scholarship for those attending trade school, technical college, or 2-year post-secondary school. We have assisted United Way in packaging and distributing goods after Hurricane Ida and the Colonial Tornado. For the past 4 years, we have also partnered with the We Made organization for our Donuts with Santa event in St. Charles Parish, where we give free gifts, donuts, and pictures of Santa for approximately 100 children each year, held at River Parish's Technical College of Boutique. To name a few things. Coming up, we will be at St. Charles Parish Council on Aging for Welderly Day, with an emphasis and focus on fall prevention, which will be held March 17th at 10 a.m. So as you can see, we have been putting in the work and will continue to do so to be of service to the St. Charles Parish community. Thank you to Parish President Matthew Jewell and the members of the council for this proclamation, and we welcome the opportunity for partnership so we can continue to be of service to St. Charles Parish. Thank you again.
(2025-0364) River Parish's Transit Authority report, and Miss Stacy Van Sickle here to report.
Not daunting at all. Hi,
Do you have the clicker? Oh, yeah.
Let me just test it.
All right. Hello, I'm Stacy Vansickle. I'm with TransDev Services. We provide the operations and grants management to the RPTA. I'm the general manager and the grants manager. Does not mean it's a one-person show. I've got a lot of help doing that. We have been offering on-demand service since February 2009. The fare is $2 for a one-way trip. Service hours Monday through Friday, 5 a.m. to 6:30, and Saturday, 5:30 a.m. to 6:30 p.m. We did go until 7:30 p.m. until I believe it was September 1st. We cut the last hour of service, but we'll get to that in another slide. We have connecting service. You gotta add it. Uh-oh. You're showing them all the good stuff. We have connecting service with St. James Transit, Jefferson Parish Transit, and RTA. We operate in St. Charles and St. John the Baptist, and we also, yeah, I said St. James. As far as capital procurements in 2025, we didn't do a whole lot. We completed the procurement of replacement computers and radio equipment. This is our service area map. It's a large portion of St. John the Baptist and St. Charles parishes there. Total ridership. So 2024, the ridership was 19,240 trips. 2025 is down just a little bit, 19,157. But again, we cut that last hour of service. I think we would have been beyond that. Our ridership has been going up steadily. We operate 3 vehicles in service for a total of 40 hours on weekdays and 2 vehicles on Saturdays for a total of 26 hours. This is just a picture of 2020 to 2025 ridership. That dip on the 9 down there was Ida, just to give you some perspective. But like I said, we're holding steady and moving up a bit. All right. So ridership in St. Charles Parish. In 2025, an average of 26% of all trips originated in St. Charles Parish and 25% ended in St. Charles Parish. That's remained pretty steady over the years, actually. I'm not going to list all the towns, but I'll throw out a few. Luling, Booty, Paradis, Des Allemands, Norco. We'll service all of that. The majority of our trips, and this is not just for St. Charles, but the majority of our trips in general are people going to and from their places of employment. And then the second most popular is medical appointments, and those are predominantly dialysis trips. We have increased service twice in response to passenger demand. First in 2014, we started Saturday service. We put 2 buses in service for a total of 28 hours. And then we added weekday extra hour of service that was at the beginning of the day, so that we started at 5 a.m. rather than 5:30 p.m. or a.m. And as I said, we did reduce service by 1 hour per day, Monday through Saturday on September 1st, and that was to provide a more cost-effective and efficient service. All right. So I've talked about Cityways before when I've been here, but we rolled this out in 2021. I'm going to just mention it again because it's really pretty cool, and all of our, well, not all of ours, but about 80% of the people who book rides with us do it online, do it on their phone, do it on their laptop, makes it a lot easier for them. We're almost at 5 stars. It's stayed at about 4.9 stars since we started. Basically, it just allows, it's on-demand service scheduling system. It allows passengers to book their trips easily. They can still call the office. We still have dispatchers there that will take their calls. Also, sharing the booked or the shared booking rates are higher, and mileage and fuel consumption are lower, thereby making the system more efficient and cost effective. The money, the funding sources. So we do get grants. The Section 5311 grants, those are our rural grants, and those come from the state. The Section 5307 are the federal grants, and that's for our urban rides, our urban trips. Farebox revenue in 2025 was $38,592. And local match is estimated at $475,000 annually, and that's from the state, and then St. John the Baptist and St. Charles parishes. Challenges, that transit systems do not pay for themselves. Obviously the farebox revenue doesn't cover everything, and also a movement from more rural service to more urban has greatly reduced our income from the state. And then there's also several federal grants that were once available that are no longer being offered by FTA in general to anyone. And we did receive 100% CARES Act, ARPA, CRISA funding from the FTA in 2020, but these funds are probably going to be depleted within 2026. I got through this fast. This is a list of our board members, and you didn't introduce yourself. So this is Anatola Thompson, and she's with Solution, and she is our accountant and oversight person. The board members from St. Charles, Emile Broussard III and Garrett Monty, and our newest member, Patrick Beard. Shanitra Lewis is now our chairperson. Corey Fauché was our chairperson forever, and he just retired. And there's our contact information if you want to get in touch with us. Oh, yes. Do you have any questions?
None. Mr. Bruyere, you have something?
Thank you, Chairman. Just a question. Do you have any data on how many people repeatedly use the service?
Yes. The passenger data?
Yes.
Yes, we do.
Okay. Do you know the number offhand as far as?
We have a lot of regulars.
Okay.
A lot of regulars. I was looking through some data the other day, and it wasn't for that particular, but there was one person who had 40 trips in a month, and that stood out to me. I was like, wow, that's, quite a bit. But I could definitely give you some data if you'd like that.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I'd like to get that. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Bruyere. Ms. Wilson?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. Can the passengers book on the same day or within 24 hours?
No, 24 hours.
Okay.
But with the Cityway system, the new thing is that you can book up to 30 days out. So if I need to get to my job, every morning at 9 a.m. or whatever, if there's availability, it is first come, first serve. But if you already know your schedule, you can book it up to 30 days out.
Thank you, Mr. Van Sickle.
All right. Thank you all very much.
2026-0004 GIS, that is the Geographic Information Systems, to be reported by Mr. Luis Martinez.
Good evening, members of the council, Parish President Jewell. I'm here to give you department update. I'll be brief, I promise. Some accomplishments of high level stuff that we did in 2025. After about 16 years of being here, we were able to finally design and implement the GIS system in the new data center that IT put in place. We're no longer in the basement. We're at the new data center, the facility they have in EOC where all the servers are housed. It's a lot more secure than being in the basement downstairs. And instead of having everything, all the components of the GIS system on one machine, I was able to break it out into different virtual machines. So if one thing goes down, I don't have to rebuild an entire system. I have an image server, a web server, a database server, an enterprise server. So everything's separated so I can actually fix pieces of the system instead of having to redo the entire system. So it's been designed a lot more efficient to operate, easy to identify problems. And with that, also launched it's called GIS Monitor. And that's able to drill down specifically to a layer in the map or in the database. And if somebody's on a web map or trying to access data and it's giving us issues, I can go to that system and run this. I'm building tools for it now. It's a kind of side project, but I can drill down through the system and identify what's causing the issue. So not just you can get as granular as the specific data layer, but it can also pinpoint to where the problem's coming from a specific server or anywhere else in the system. So instead of spending hours looking through an entire, it's kind of hard to envision, but looking through the entire system, I can just run this tool and it'll pinpoint exactly where the problem's coming from. So I can respond to it a lot faster and also run different performance metrics so we can say, hey, this is causing it to go slow, identify that issue, and work on it, repair it, whatever we need to be done. So finally, also, we launched the GIS Hub, where it's still a work in progress, but now we have all the maps. There's a picture of it on the right-hand side, that it's all the web maps and all the services that are available to the public or interdepartmental are located on one page. So instead of having to hand out a bunch of web links to different people and update them every time I publish a new map, I just change it on the back end, and the buttons, that will never change. That stays the same. So it makes it a lot easier than having to send different links out to everybody. So it's also, I've made it where the departments can access certain things. So not everybody can access like the waterworks data or drainage data. It's kind of hidden behind a password. So if you launch it, you can see certain things like the SCP reported, zoning maps, council maps, flood elevation maps that we have too. So it's all separated, so sensitive data is kind of hidden behind a password. It's secure, and everything is, like I said, accessible on one page from one site. Some of the things that we're, like high-level things that we're looking at doing here in 2026, we're preparing right now for new LiDAR data acquisition. We visited 2 of the, I think it's 20 sites where we put calibration placards out. A couple of these are kind of rural, so we have to go out and make sure the spots are cleared and still accessible, so when the planes fly over, they can see the placards when we set them out. So these are like both reflectance and positional placards, so we can calibrate the data to make sure it's accurate. Number 2, we're going to start over with the new drainage GPS acquisition. There's been an update to the National Geodetic Survey models that are coming out, the elevation models that we use, and it's going, instead of using benchmarks and static base stations, it's going to be more of a dynamic system where it uses satellites. So they recommend that we basically start from scratch and start over. So we're going to be GPSing certain areas, like high priority areas, starting with Norco. Then we're going to Luling, Old Luling, and Mimosa, and we're going to be shooting everything in an updated datum and the newest datum as well. So the reason I want to do that is because kind of get a head start. If we get another drainage study in 10 years, we'll have the data already ready to go. And it's not something we're going to focus on doing every single day, but when we have downtime, we're going to go and hit these areas and resurvey everything. So we are doing this in conjunction. Public Works asked us to take a look at these 3 areas that are having some drainage issues. So once we're done with that, we're going to kind of taper off and just do it when we have time. And another thing that we're working on too is in conjunction with the Coastal Zone Management Office and Planning and Zoning is a flood risk information system. And before, you had to call in and get your elevation certificates from somebody and go through folders and look for them. And so now everything, we're able to store everything in the cloud. So you're able to, when a person comes in, submits their elevation certificate to the Planning and Zoning Office, it automatically it goes into the cloud and it's accessible live by the residents. So you no longer will have to go look through folders and look through files. It's just everything's updated in the GIS. And another component of it too is that I got some screenshots, but it creates a log. So every time somebody calls about their flood zones or elevation certificates, it's logged in the system, and you can run reports. So you can run reports and submit all this to FEMA. I think that, if I'm not mistaken, I think Coastal Zone Management Office is required to submit something either monthly or quarterly. But instead of them having to go and enter all that stuff into a separate spreadsheet format in their format and upload it to FEMA, it's all done on the backside. So they just press a button and it does it for them. And I have a couple screenshots of it. This is there's two sides of it. So it's kind of like the SCP report and stuff. So we have a manager side that the public can't see this. This is where you're actually the person responsible for adding elevation certificates at that office is able to add them directly through this app. And they're also able to delete them too if they need to. And then they have the request log. And then the request log is when, as they get calls in, they enter the information to run reports. And then at the end, you have the contact, at the bottom, you have the contact log report. So they can generate that on, specific dates or months and run these reports without having to actually copy, paste, and upload stuff to a different spreadsheet. So everything's done from one location. It's secure. And I've built everything into a database in the cloud, so we don't have to worry about any downtime. This is an example of the contact log report. There's a couple more pages to it, but all the information that FEMA requests is going to be on this report. So it's just sitting here. We are in the beta stages of this, just to make sure everything's running smoothly. But so this is just on the left is just the same. You can see the tool where you can add the elevation certificates. It's all based on address. So that specific elevation certificate is tied to your address point. And then you have another thing that's generated as these two things will be accessible to the public. So instead of having to call in and somebody generate all this data, it's available on the fly from a map. So you will be able to obtain your elevation certificate and run these flood risk reports. All the information that you need. There's a lot of other stuff on the report. It's kind of hard to see, but if mandatory insurance requirements are made, so the software in the back kind of answers all these questions for you. If you need to contact the Coastal Zone Management Office, it tells you this. If it's in a special flood hazard area or in the wetlands. So all that answers all these questions in one report. That might be and so yeah, we haven't launched it yet. It is working right now. We are using it in-house, but once it's live and we go through make sure there's no bugs, we'll be able to go live with it. And that's all I have. If you have any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Martinez. One question is transition to National Spatial Reference System. Mm-hmm. I know I'd talked with you about it, but are people in the surveying business migrating to that already? And how will that truly affect our NAVD 88 measurements, our elevations, which everybody seems to rely on? We have that data going back many years.
Yeah, a lot of people are already, I don't know, in different municipalities or parishes if they're doing it. But according to the NGS, they recommend we update everything because there could be, it doesn't say specifically where, but it could be up to 4 foot difference from NAVD 88 to the new. NSRS. So it's like I said, it's dynamic now. So it's based off of satellite measurements. And they said there was an error in one of the gravitational models from, I don't know, about a few years ago when they launched it. I think it was back in like 2002 or somewhere. It's been a few years, but there was an error in the model that affects the elevation. So they recommend updating everything. So since we were going back and remeasuring things in the new geoid, we have two instruments. We're just going to shoot it with two different elevation models.
So you're going to have two different elevations that are available for people to look at. Is there going to be like an arbiter or something to make sure you know which one's the right one? Or?
Well, yeah, I mean, it'll be labeled, 2018. We're going to use start shooting things in geoid 2018 and one using the new system. Because we were shooting everything in 2012, that geoid model. We're going back and shooting everything in 2018 per some recommendations, but they say just start from scratch and do everything over, which is kind of a monumental task. But it's, if we have the data already ready to go in the event something happens, we do have all the data there. We don't have to. I kind of learned from that before. We have the data accessible, and we can just hand it to somebody.
Sounds crazy to me.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty fast now that we have our own base station and everything. We can do things a lot quicker. So,
okay. Thank you. Ms. Fonseca.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Lewis, I just wanted to thank you. The work that you and your staff do and the information that you've provided has proven invaluable over the years.
Thanks.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Mr. Martinez.
Right, thank you.
2026-0005. Parish President remarks and reports. Mr. Jewell.
Thank you, Chairman. This past Tuesday, we marked an exciting milestone with the groundbreaking of the Des Allemands boat launch, a long-awaited moment for many residents in Des Allemands and folks on the West Bank of St. Charles Parish. The groundbreaking marks the beginning of a year-long project that will improve the boating access, will support tourism, and help our boaters have better access to the bayou. The future boat launch will be located off of WPA Road and U.S. Highway 90 on land donated to the parish by Chevron in 2021. Construction is scheduled to begin shortly and is again expected to take about 1 year. Next is our update on Muntz Pump Station number 1. As you can see in the photo, crews are digging out the sump to expose the previously driven piles so that they can now pour the working bottom as well as add rebar and then pour the foundation for the pump station. The outer sump foundation walls are going to tie into the sheet pile wing walls that are visible in the background of this photo. Kind of hard to see, but you can see them in the very back there, right below and right above that pipe there. At Muntz number 2, the footprint of the new access road over the levee has been cleared. The work on the piping discharge splash pad is going to begin soon. The construction team is working in the spillway now to get concrete poured in anticipation of high river levels that usually affect us in April and May each year. Over to the West Bank Deputy Jeff G. Watson Boulevard extension is now open. That now connects Dufresne Parkway to Ashton Plantation Boulevard. The recent work did extend the road by 1,270 feet, and the road is also designated a no truck route, and I know we're going to codify that soon as well. The Department of Community Services toy donations. Children at the St. Rose Community Center went home with toys this past Christmas thanks to Albert Cammon Middle School and Covenant Church Ministries. We are also grateful for the staff of the Department of Community Services who always go above and beyond creating a safe space for kids to learn and grow and feel connected during a time of year that can be especially important for their families. Spring sports registration is now officially open. It's the time of year to get your kids signed up for spring sports. Sunday, January 25th is going to be the closing date of that. Late registration will be available the 26th and 27th. Fees will apply. Again, It's open now, and that's going to run to the 25th. Don't ask us to keep it open because we got to create teams, we got to get coaches, and we got to get kids practicing. We can't keep it open for 2 months. If your child tries out for Little League and is not selected, they will still have the opportunity to register for recreation ball and to participate in the spring season. Parents can register their children at the St. Charles Parish Parks and Recreation website. That's scpparksandrec.com/programs/booster-clubs. Primetime Seniors Chair Yoga is now being held twice a week due to growing popularity. Those are going to be on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 11:15 a.m. at the Edward A. Dufresne Community Center. I want to say thanks to the support of the United Way of St. Charles Parish. Now that their support is in place, the class consistently has over 40 participants per class and is a fan favorite of the seniors. Okay, it's past Christmas now. We are trying to get all of our Christmas trees collected. If you still have your Christmas tree in your house, Mardi Gras has officially started, so it's time to take that down, put it out by the road, or bring it to one of our drop-off stations. We've got the East Bank Bridge Park, the West Bank Bridge Park, IMTT Field, Monsanto Park, Muntz Park, Tezemans Playground off of WPA Road. These trees are going to be used to be put in cages on Cuba Island to help support an area that we have identified that has seen some increased coastal erosion over the past few years, and especially after Hurricane Ida. So traditionally, we've done it off the backside of Bayou Gauche near Seminole Ponds, or in Seminole Ponds. This year, we're going to go over to Cuba Island. All right. It is the colder season. We do see some of our coldest weather in late January and February. So we are always going to be making sure that people remember the 4 Ps: people, pets, pipes, and plants. Taking simple precautions now can prevent damage and keep everyone safe during a cold winter. Make sure to sign up for SCP Alerts. That's scpalerts.com, or you can text SCP Alerts to 888-777 to stay informed, and you're going to get a text message every time we have a weather event or any other emergency that we need to notify you on. Last but certainly not least, we have the sales tax report from November. Sales taxes were up 19.47% in November. This is a significant increase from the prior year due to sales tax. To date, sales tax collections overall are 7.74% higher than they were this time over last year. I do think that number also includes an audit, some audit money that we got in. So that is part of that larger increase. But year over year, we are about $3.3 million higher than last. So good news on that front. That concludes my report.
Thank you, Mr. Jewell. Ordinances, resolutions introduced for publication, public hearing, Monday, January 26, 2026, at the Council Chambers, Courthouse, Hanville. 2025-0401, 2026-0018, and 0022. Ordinances scheduled for public hearing, introduced at a previous meeting. 2025-0377, an ordinance approving and authorizing the execution of change order number 1 for the Deputy Jeff G. Watson Drive roadway extension, project number P190102, to decrease the contract amount by $18,262.50. And I think Mr. Bingham's going to explain this.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much. As the parish president said in his remarks, that is now open. We have it striped, and people are using it. So it's, the only thing that is left to do on that project from our standpoint is there was a delay in getting the light standards for that particular road. They should be in by the end of this month, and then we will have them installed. That didn't change any prices, so we did our final change order, which is the one that's in front of you, for a decrease. And we did do some additional striping. The original plan did not call for striping the center line on this road. That was added, and we did that directly with the contractor that does striping, and that was $10,380, but that was outside the contract. So we did that as a task order with that particular contractor. So we would appreciate your support of this ordinance.
Thank you, Mr. Bingham. File number 2025-0377 is now open for public hearing. If there's anyone who would like to come up and speak regarding this item, please do so now. Please state your name and address for the record, and you have 3 minutes to speak. Seeing none, public hearing is closed. Any council discussion? Seeing none, please cast your votes for file number 2025-0377. And that passes unanimously. 2025-0391, an ordinance to approve and authorize the execution of a cooperative endeavor agreement with the St. Charles Parish Public Defender's Office, aka 29th Judicial District Indigent Defender, for funding from the settlement of the Louisiana state local government opioid litigation in the amount of $80,000 per year to the St. Charles Parish Public Defender's Office to pay the office to provide services for a drug court attorney or legal representative for the drug court program. A sponsor was Mr. Jewell, and Mr. Oob, Corey Oob, should be here to explain.
Thank you. As stated, this is a cooperative endeavor agreement with the Public Defender's Office. St. Charles Parish has received funds pursuant to a settlement, which was basically statewide to different parishes and specifically different entities within the parish, including our parish government, that can only be used for certain items that overlap with opioid funding and opioid issues. One of those is to fund the drug courts as an appropriate funding. So Mr. Swan, who can speak more specifically about what the program does, has requested these funds for the period in the cooperative endeavor agreement at $80,000 per year, which is within the budget for each year to fund it for a few years if approved by the council. But any specific questions with regard to what the Public Defender's Office does with the drug court program can be answered by Mr. Swan.
Thank you, Mr. Oob. File number 2025-0391 is now open for public hearing. If there's anyone here who would like to come up and speak regarding this item, please do so now. Please state your name and address for the record, and you have 3 minutes to speak.
My name is Finn Swan. I am the District Public Defender. The office address is 13309 River Road in Luling, Louisiana. By the way, thank you very much for this time to talk. Sorry. The funds that we're asking for is specifically to pay for a public defender to staff the drug court program. This person has already been used in the past for the last 23 years. We have provided this service with no funds being paid for that particular person from either the Louisiana Supreme Court or from the drug court program itself. This person is not just a person who represents anyone in a criminal matter. This is a legal representative who helps those particular participants, by the way, all of which are St. Charles Parish residents. That is a specific requirement for the St. Charles Parish Drug Court program. But this particular attorney represents them within the drug court team meetings, which are about 3 hours per week, as well as in court with representation during those drug court hearings. During the team meetings, they discuss the person's treatment. Treatment is part of it. A judge is part of it. The DA's office is part of it. The public defender's office is part of it. Basically, we're looking at trying to help this person to be able to fight addiction. We also want to make sure to help this person to be able to have a functioning work life, functioning family life. We help them to try to get their Medicaid, Section 8, any other programs that can help them to be able to make sure that they are able to function in society and be part of our community, so that they do not reoffend and do not basically come back into our criminal justice system. So just so that we're clear, the participants in the drug court program are all nonviolent offenders, and no one is allowed in that program who has committed a crime of violence. These are people who have addiction problems, and any offenses that they have been accused of or have faced have been somehow linked to this addiction. But no one who is accused of or is convicted of a violent crime is allowed in this program. We have, through the time frame that the drug court program has been running, we have served about 500 people in St. Charles Parish. It's actually 498 people. Currently, there are about 15 to 20 people slots right now in the drug court program. So I'm here to answer any other questions if you have them, but I would ask for your support on this this ordinance, and I'm here to answer any questions you might have.
Thank you, Mr. Venn. Mr. Swan? Mr. Jewell? Oh, I'm sorry. I'm new at this. If there's file number 20250391 is now open for public hearing. If there's anyone else who would like to come up and speak regarding this item, please do so now. Please state your name and address for the record, and you have 3 minutes to speak. Seeing none, public hearing is closed. Any council discussion? Mr. Jewell, you're up first.
Thank you, Chairman. I just want to say that over the years, the Public Defender's Office has come to the parish a few times in the previous term, and I have been the staunchest defender of not giving the Public Defender's Office tax dollars because, not that I don't like the Public Defender's Office, but I know that there's a funding issue that is unrelated to St. Charles Parish. It's really at the state level that has caused some of those issues. When you look at the opioid money, I signed on to that lawsuit in 2020 when I came into office, and we received a $3 million award that we're getting over the course of some time, and you have to use that money specifically to address the opioid crisis or some sort of intersection there. And as far as I've tried, I cannot connect the opioid crisis to drainage, and so
let's hope not.
At least the lawyers have said you can't do it. So I will say that I do think this is a perfect use of this money. I'm also working with our judges in the judicial system, looking at the other side of drug court to figure out ways that we can work together to just make sure that on the judicial system that this money is being spent in ways that are going to positively impact people who have been affected by drugs or the opioid crisis that we've had in the country. So I just would say I'm supportive of this and ask for your support.
Mr. Brie.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just want to thank you, Mr. Swan, for providing this program, which is a very important and crucial program for the people in our community. Thank you so much for doing that, and I fully support that as well.
Ms. Fonseca.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Having formerly worked with the drug court, the mental health side of the drug court patients, I'm in full support of this funding going for that purpose. But as Parish President Jewell said, I just wanted to make sure we're clear that this isn't parish government funding. It's the federal funding being funneled through the parish government. So when it's gone, it's gone. And I also have had some heartburn with the unmandated funding, the requests that have come through in the past. So, but this is great. I'm happy for you all to get this funding, and it will go to good use. I'm in full support. Thank you.
Ms. O'Daniels.
Thank you, Mr. Swan. We've spoken about the public defender's struggle in getting appropriate funding, and while I think that problem may lay at the state level, I think what's being done at the drug court level affects our community directly and in a positive way. So I'm very pleased to support this.
Is there any further council discussion? Seeing none, Council discussion is closed. Please cast your votes for file number 20250391. And that passes unanimously. All right, the 2025-0392, an ordinance approving and authorizing the execution of a contract with Cycle Construction Company, LLC, for the Ormond Center drainage improvements. That's project number P190505 in the amount of $3,097,730, sponsored by Mr. Jewell, Department of Public Works. Mr. Bingham.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This project bid once before, and we came in with amounts of, bids that were relatively high compared to what we thought it should be. We did a little bit of homework with the contractors and found out that there were some items that they thought were a little bit too ambiguous for them to bid. So we worked on those items, and we've corrected that in these bids after rejecting those bids. And we are now back with a bid that is within our budget and that handles all of those issues in an appropriate way where we can control the costs. So we would appreciate your supporting this. This is definitely needed. It's been affecting the Ormond Center, the drainage in that area for a year and plus. So again, we would appreciate your support.
Thank you, Mr. Bingham. File number 2025-0392 is now open for public hearing. If there's anyone here who would like to come up and speak regarding this item, please do so now. Please state your name and address for the record, and you have 3 minutes to speak. Seeing none, public hearing is closed. Any council discussion? Mr. Fisher.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Like you said, Miles, it's been a long time coming. It's an added thing. It's the tail end of District 6, and I know it has a lot of Ormond stuff, but how important this is to the overall watershed of that Ormond watershed and getting that water out of Ormond and out of New Sarpy, out of that area. We've reached a bottleneck, and I guess with the collapse and the like you said, the complicated part of it. So I'm very glad to see this. I know it was a very big endeavor, and I'm very, very happy that this will be another bottleneck to the overall drainage. It'll be going away. So I'm very, very happy, and I support it 100%.
Mr. Bingham.
Yes, sir.
I am also excited, and Mr. Fisher's right. It's in his district, but believe me, everybody thinks it's in District 3, and it's really not. However, I've been out there many times. It's a mess. People ask all the time how it's going to get fixed. It's ultimately going to. It's not going to be a clean, fancy project. It's going to be a little bit of a mess, no doubt. But two things I wonder. The inlet underneath the railroad tracks is shoaled in quite a bit. Will that be part of this project to open that up a bit, to get some of that mud out from underneath, which is where the water passes from the canal underneath the railroad tracks to get into this?
I don't know that we can do that under this particular project. We'll have to go talk to the railroad about clearing that out because it does involve their right of way. But we will take that on as part, and we can do that with our forces and make that happen, sir.
Good. The other question is, do you have an idea as to when this project may start?
Sign the contract. I would say they'll be out there fairly soon. I would say within a month or so.
Thank you, Mr. Bingham. Okay, no more council discussion. Please cast your votes for file number 20250392. And that passes unanimously. Next is 20250393. It's an ordinance approving and authorizing the execution of a professional services agreement with Barauka and Benura Engineers and Consultants, that's BBEC, LLC, to perform engineering services for the Armand CN, that's Canadian National Railway Culverts, Project P200-801, in the not to exceed amount of $1,097,231, sponsored by Mr. Julian, Department of Public Works. Again, Mr. Bingham, you're up.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This was one of the original contracts we did back when President Jewell came into office. We did not have a very good scope of work when we started it. We also did not anticipate or understand what the railroad company was going to require for this project. They've in the past, they have not required some of the things that they are requiring at this point, such as a sheeting and shoring plan from the design engineer. Normally that was left to the contractor to do as part of their work, even though the contractor will have to redo it. The engineer had to provide them something to show that it could be done. So there were a lot of elements that were not anticipated in their initial contract. Also the cost of the project was very much underestimated. We're doing this one project. There were 6 sites. We're only doing 2. And I appreciate the engineer working with us on this, because they have stuck with us and pushed through a lot of these issues. And we've kept good track of what was going on the project. And we feel like going through this, we negotiated every item and feel like they are giving us a reasonable price. We've compared it to some of our other projects that have similar things where we now have better information, like the new Sarpy culverts, and we're seeing that this is a reasonable price for what they are doing, and we would appreciate your support on this project. Thank you.
Okay. Public hearing is now open. If there's anyone here who would like to come up and speak regarding this item, please do so now. Please state your name and address for the record, and you have 3 minutes to speak. Seeing none, public hearing is closed. Any council discussion? Ms. Fonseca?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. First, let me say that I'm in full support of this project and have been from the outset. It's one of the first projects that we entered into a contract to design after the flooding in 2020.
Yes, we did.
And partially because I think the Ormond drainage impact study was further along than many of the others on the East Bank or West Bank. My concern with this, and I am in support of this change order, I do know that the engineering firm did the work. I've worked with the firm before myself, so I have no doubt that, this was a very complex project, uncharted waters with the railroad. But I would have preferred if the administration had come to us with some of this amount prior to the project being advertised for bids, and I'm just drawing from past history. It's really, perception can be a little off when you wait to adjust design fees after the bids have already come in. And my thoughts on this are very similar to change orders that we allow to grow to be too high and, wait till the end of the project to bring it to the council. So again, I am in support of this. I do realize it was very complex, the difficulties and challenges that, may have made you feel like you needed to wait to bring it to us at this point. But I do support it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Fonseca. Mr. Bingham.
Yes, sir.
I think you know that I'm in favor of this
Yes,
in
sir.
a big way. And I followed this project through from about 2020. And every blood and guts type of situation I've seen happen, and we've had them all. We've had the problems with the grant, the almost losing the grant, the parish president and his staff going to work to make sure we didn't lose the grant. Then you run into problems with the design, and most recently, instead of starting something in October, we're going to start about February now. Why was that? a line wasn't in the place that it was supposed to be. So we had to do potholing to figure out where it was. All right, once we do all of that stuff, we figure out, hey, guess what? It's going to hit the receiving structure that was designed. So then you go back and start over again. So we finally got the railroad's approval to do the revised design, which is great, which means we can start getting the rest of the materials we need and we can get this project underway. And having been in the engineering business for a long part of my life, I can tell you, engineering's not cheap. Good engineering's certainly not cheap. And I think we got possibly one of the better companies that you could probably get to do this type of work. And I'm not trying to blow smoke or anything else, but you want a good job done, it's going to cost you some money. So I'm in favor of this. It kind of caught me a little bit when I looked at the amounts of the order, change order. But when you look at all the breakdowns of the things that are involved, and having been close enough to the recent redesign, it didn't come cheap. And it had one of the principals of their company, BBEC, as well as one of their project engineer involved in this pretty much, if not full time, at least half of their time. So I'm all in favor of this, and I just wanted to state what I see. Thank you. Mr. Jewell.
Thank you, Chairman. I do appreciate Councilman Fonseca's thoughts on this and the perception that it might create. One of the things I want to say is that we have worked very hard on this project, and everything reflected in this change order has been vetted by our engineering teams and the Public Works Director, and so we believe it is justified. We kept the engineer working on this project, and when it came time, whether we were going to talk about making a change to the contract amount or him working on the permits and getting those permits submitted to the railroad, he even chose, which was the right choice, to work on the permits to get this project along, because we just knew how important it was. So we do apologize for bringing it at this stage. If there's any engineers at home watching us today, I know we might have another one in the audience. We do not change contract amounts based off of bids. Don't even think about it. Don't even come ask us. Don't even try it. In this case, this was work that was actually performed, and we did pass another ordinance in another location with a separate engineering firm for culverts on the railroad that actually did reflect what work needed to be done, and that was a learning experience from this contract. So would ask for your support, and I do appreciate that. We will try not to let that happen again.
Thank you, Mr. Jewell. Any other council discussions? Seeing none, please cast your votes. File number 2025-0393. And that passed unanimously. 2025-0394, an ordinance approving and authorizing the execution of change order number 1 final for the East Bank Bridge Park improvements, project number RECEB 1I23, I guess, to increase the contract amount by $63,294.80 and increase the contract time by 134 days. If there's, this is sponsored by Mr. Jewell and Department of Parks and Recreation, and Mr. Dwayne Foray is here to explain.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, members of the council, Parish President Jew. Yeah, the change order consists of some additional work we did. That was 420 foot of ornamental fencing. Just as we did the West Bank, we had the contractor on site. We decided to fence it to the property line where eventually we hope the beautiful gymnasium is going. And then once we started digging up and demoing the gravel on the older part of the park, we found some asphalt we had to dig through. That demo was part of the additional change order, along with adding a 48-inch catch basin in that parking lot. Now, some deductions we were able to do was some landscaping and some sod that we did in-house and in the contractor. I mean, as you know, we met a lot of adversity through that whole project, starting with the snow, the rain, the river levels. Unfortunately, at times, our contractor had some problems. So he's forced to adhere to the contract he signs, and he didn't meet those particular days, so we charged him the 24 days that he was late, and that's the deductions. And the net change order is a little over $63,000. So I'd like your support on this. At the end of the day, it's a beautiful project, but as with some projects, you have some challenges, but we are happy with the finished product. And, you know, He has to adhere to the contract he signed too. So we feel we were very much fair in that regards. So I'd ask for your support in any questions you may have regarding the project. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Foray. File number 2025-0394 is now open for public hearing. If there's anyone here who'd like to come up and speak regarding this item, please do so now. Please state your name and address for the record, and you have 3 minutes to speak. Seeing none, public hearing is closed. Any council discussion? Seeing none, please cast your votes for file number 2025-0394. And that passes unanimously. File 2025-0395, an ordinance approving and authorizing the execution of a contract with Hard Rock Construction LLC for the Kindler Lift Station Replacement, project number S220801, in the amount of $624,712.60, sponsored by Mr. Jewell in the Department of Wastewater, and Mr. David DeGeneres is here to explain.
Thanks, Chairman. This is to replace an old dry pit station on Kindler Drive. We actually got to relocate it across the street and put a submersible station in, and we ask for your support.
Thank you, Mr. DeGeneres. File number 2025-0395 is now open for public hearing. If there's anyone who would like to come up and speak regarding this item, please do so now. Please state your name and address for the record, and you have 3 minutes to speak. Seeing none, public hearing is closed. Any council discussion? Ms. Wilson?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. Since there's going to be work with the Kindler lift station, will there also be work at the same time on Kindler Street for the drainage, or is that going to be separate? Will it be combined?
We might be able to do some of it where it's going to affect the force main, because we had to reroute the force main. That's going to affect the drainage project as well, so we might be able to do some of that now through some of the property, because I think all the property wasn't acquired at the time when this went out to bid, but my project was all acquired. But I think since then, so we might be able to do some of it. So I'm going to work with Public Works to see what we might change order, and we'll just need to see if the contractor's in favor of it or not.
No other speakers here? Any further council discussion? There was somebody else up on the screen a second ago. No other further council discussion, please cast your votes for file number 2025-0395. And that passes unanimously. All right, 2025-0396, an ordinance approving and authorizing the execution of a professional services agreement with C.H. Fenstermaker and Associates LLC to perform engineering services for Primrose Canal cleaning and improvements, Phase 1B, project number P210202, in the amount not to exceed $56,926.83, sponsored by Mr. Jewell in the Department of Public Works. Mr. Bingham?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This is a small contract based on just doing the construction of this project for the engineer. This was an older contract. It had an expiration of 3 years, and it has expired. So we have reinitiated it for this particular project and its construction. So that's why it's only $56,000, and it's a new contract. We would appreciate your support.
Thank you, Mr. Bingham. File number 2025-0396 is now open for a public hearing. If there's anyone who would like to come up and speak regarding this item, please do so now. Please state your name and address for the record, and you have 3 minutes to speak. Seeing none, public hearing is closed. Any council discussion? Seeing none, please cast your votes for file number 2025-0396. What happened? And that passes unanimously. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't see him pop up. Oh. Well, it wasn't unanimous. Mr. Fisher is exited. He wasn't in the vote. Okay. 2025-0398. An ordinance approving and authorizing the execution of Amendment Number 1 for Ordinance 25-2-13, which approved, sorry, I'm reading the wrong thing, which approved the professional services agreement with Alpha Testing and Inspection for testing and inspection services for capital project testing and inspection project number P250107 in the amount not to exceed $250,000, increasing the overall contract value to $500,000. Mr. Bingham?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Alpha Testing, we use them consistently for testing services for a lot of different things, such as doing vibration monitoring, testing soils, etc. And we write task orders off of this contract for that. We used it very successfully last year, and we are looking forward to using them again to do the same thing in 2026. We would appreciate your support on this. This is a valuable contract to the Public Works Department, and it has also the potential to be used by wastewater if they need it as well for some of their projects.
Thank you, Mr. Bingham. File number 2025-0398 is now open for public hearing. If there's anyone who would like to come up and speak regarding this item, please do so now. Please state your name and address for the record, and you have 3 minutes to speak. Seeing none, public hearing is closed. Any council discussion? Mr. Bingham.
Yes, sir.
I had gotten a list. I'd requested it. There are just a couple of things that maybe you could shed some light on. There was some different projects I just didn't know much about, like Ashton Addendum, Ashton Patio Homes, Business Campus Phase 3. Can you kind of give us some enlightenment as to what
Sure.
those were last year?
Yeah, Ashton Patio Homes, we also have to go out and test for new subdivisions. And that was a new expansion of the subdivision. And therefore we sent them out to do the testing that we would do for a subdivision on that one. What was the other one, sir?
The other one was Business Campus Phase 3. I guess that's an extension right past the library, and they have to do some testing on that roadway.
Yes, again, that would be a new development type thing, and we send them out to do the testing that we need for that. Yes, sir.
Thank you. File number 2025-0398 is now open for public hearing. If there's anyone here who'd like to come up and speak regarding this item, please do so now. Please state your name and address for the record, and you have 3 minutes to speak. Seeing none, public hearing is closed. Any council discussion? Seeing none, please cast your votes. And that is unanimous. Mr. Fisher's back. Thank you, Mr. Fisher. File number 2025-0399, ordinance to approve and authorize the execution of a consultant agreement between Adams and Reese LLP in St. Charles Parish for federal governmental affairs representation, sponsored by Mr. Jewell and Department of Legal Services, and Mr. Jewell will explain.
Thank you, Chairman. What I'm about to say will apply to both 2025-0399 and 2025-0400. The two items really propose to separate our existing combined state and federal lobbying contract into two distinct contracts and enhancing a scope of work for each. Early in my administration, a single contract made sense when a lot of our projects were in the conceptual and preliminarily required general legislative monitoring. Today, we are at a more advanced, large-scale capital project intensive time, including a roughly $50 million West Bank water plant, which this council will receive a contract on in the coming weeks. We also have major coastal projects that are identified in the SHIELD plan, which have been put on your desks. Future phases of the Desalmans bulkhead, drainage master plan projects, wastewater projects, as well as emerging multimodal transportation opportunities. State and federal funding operate under very different roles and rules, timelines, and agencies. And separating these contracts now allows us to be far more strategic on these two particular issues. On the federal side, in particular, it strengthens our ability to pursue opportunities like the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers Section 219 wastewater program, which requires a deliberate congressional appropriation and agency coordination. And unfortunately for us, it's currently benefiting other parishes right now, and we're not. Finally, the timing matters. Our existing contract expires in March 2026, and taking action now allows us to put the right structure in place ahead of this legislative session and terminate the current contract in an orderly manner. Overall, this reflects our shift from early planning to actively funding and delivering on major projects. I will say that we have been very successful with both Adams and Reese and Connick and Associates, and I'm happy to answer any more questions about that that you may have.
File number, file number 2025039 is now open for public hearing. If there's anyone here who'd like to come up and speak regarding this item, please do so now. Please state your name and address for the record, and you have 3 minutes to speak. Seeing none, public hearing is closed. Any council discussions? Ms. O'Daniels?
Yes, my comments aren't necessarily as to separating the contracts and separating the services, because both are very critical to our parish. The escape clauses in these contracts, though, provide me a little bit of concern, because from a budgetary standpoint, we really don't know where these were located necessarily. They are funded under somewhat of a grab bag of professional services under Public Works, which contains a variety of different projects looking at 2025. So I just have a small request that in the next budgetary cycle, if there's any way we can separate lobbying out to make sure that it is funded, and that we do have we do have some kind of opportunity to make sure that it is funded, because in here it says if funding is not available, and that particular fund could go to so many different things, that I'd like to make sure that we understand what we're voting on when we're voting on the budget. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Daniels. Any other council discussions? Seeing none, please cast your votes for file number 2025039. That passes unanimously. File number 20250-400, an ordinance to approve and authorize the execution of a consulting agreement between Connick and Associates LLC in St. Charles Parish for state governmental affairs representation. Mr. Jewell in Department of Legal Services, please explain.
Thank you, Chairman. Same thing as before. Obviously, these two contracts were combined previously. We're asking to separate them. I will say that we have been very successful. We've seen our most success on the state lobbying side when it comes to the previous contract. We're asking to be even more coordinated and strategic, and we're going to be asking a lot more of the lobbyists when you look at the scope, and I'd ask for your support.
Thank you, Mr. Jewell. File number 20250-400 is now open for public hearing. If there's anyone who would like to come up and speak regarding this item, please do so now. Please state your name and address for the record, and you have 3 minutes to speak. Seeing none, public hearing is closed. Any council discussion? I have just an observation. The last year, Adams and Reese were handling both state and federal requirements, and I'm sure that this rationale for having a more representation comes with an expense, which happens to be, if you add the previous file number with this one, is $300,000. So I'm hoping that that'll yield better grant money for us. I did look at the professional services bucket that we had in the budget that we approved in November, and it's like 900,000. And last year we had 170,000 for Adams and Reese, and that was within that amount that was budgeted then. So with a lot of other professional services, I see why Miss O'Daniels has, the desire at least to break it out, but it took a little investigation to find out where this money goes. So I'd appreciate, just like what she was saying, same sort of treatment in the future. Thank you. Mr. Jew.
Thank you, Chairman. I'm going to give you an example of how this representation does pay for itself. Just last year, when we had identified the need to upgrade our West Bank water plant, we wanted to figure out, you're looking at a $5 million, pretty much a $5 million design fee for a project of that scale. Connick & Associates went to the legislature and was able to secure $5 million in cash. Cash is hard to get just in general, let alone $5 million of it. And while I'd love to, say that it was all me and take credit, it was their idea, their strategy. I did attend those meetings with them, but they were able to secure that for us. And at the proposed ordinance contract rate, that would be 27 years of their fee, their annual fee. If you add them both together, you're looking at about 16 years or 17 years of their fee. So, and the fact of the matter is, that's just one item that we've been successful on. I'll tell you, when the legislature is rocking and rolling, especially when you get into those final hours, stuff is happening and flying all over the place. Things are getting ripped out in place for other people to get their stuff put in. And these guys are up there. They remain committed. And we haven't gotten anything pulled out yet. And I really do think that's because they're there advocating on our behalf. So we want to keep that going. And when you look at what we are trying to do with these expanded scopes, we're trying to build on what we've already accomplished.
Thank you, Mr. Jewell. Ms. O'Daniels.
And that's exactly my concern, is that, okay, everybody's on the same page now about how we're going forward with things, looking at the budget, you look at the grant money and the percentage of the grant money of our overall budget. There's no way all these projects will be happening, as, Councilwoman Fonseca will tell you, without all this grant money. So we need to make sure that we're focused on getting this done. I've actually been, up at Baton Rouge, and I can tell you these people are up there every single day working, and a lot of people like to poo-poo lobbying money and say it's a waste of money, or why are you saying this is a good thing? Oh, this is how business gets done. So the bottom line is that with this, in the way it's written and the way it's set up in the budget, I just want to make sure that that money is there, and then that money is emphasized as important for our parish. Thank you.
Any further council discussion? Seeing none, please cast your votes for file 2025-0400. And that passes unanimously. Appointments. 2025-0329, a resolution appointing a member of the St. Charles Parish Board of Adjustment as the District 2 representative. The chairman will accept a nomination to the St. Charles Parish Board of Adjustment from District 2 Council member to fill the vacancy created by the expiration of the term of Miss Vicki Carter, 4-year term to begin December 7th, 2025 and expire December 7th, 2029. It was deferred from the December 15th, 2025 Parish Council meeting. So here we are. Do we have a nomination?
I would like to nominate Mr. Victor Bucola.
Thank you, Ms. Skiba. All right, the nominee is Mr. Victor Bucola by Ms. Skiba. A motion, a second is needed to close these nominations. A motion by Mr. Comradell and seconded by Mr. Brouillet. Please cast your votes to close the nomination. It looks like that's passed unanimously. Okay. 2025-0360, Resolution appointing a member to the South Central Louisiana Human Services Authority Board. Council will confirm nomination to the South Central Louisiana Human Services Authority Board to fill the vacancy created by the expiration of the term of Miss Barbara Fuselier. I hope I got that right. In accordance with the Louisiana Revised Statute 28:913.4. The board shall be comprised of 9 members, 1 resident from the parish of St. Charles to be appointed by the parish council. 3-year term to begin immediately and expire January 1st, 2029. The nominee is Miss Barbara Fuselier. Please cast your vote to confirm the appointment of Miss Barbara Fuselier to the South Central Louisiana Human Services Authority Board.
Fuselier.
Fuselier. It's the French in me. Touche. Okay. And that passes unanimously. Okie doke. 2026-0013, Council ex officio appointment to St. Charles Parish Library Board of Control. Council chairman shall name a council member to act as ex officio member to the St. Charles Parish Library Board of Control. The chairman of the parish council shall be ex officio, provided, however, that the chairman of the parish council shall have the right to designate another member of the governing authority of the parish to serve in their place. 1-year term to begin immediately and expire January 7th, 2027. And I would like to appoint Miss Holly Fonseca to that position. I don't think we have to do anything else, huh? All right. 2026-0015, accept the resignation of Mr. Emile Broussard III, River Parish's Transit Authority. Please cast your vote to accept the resignation of Mr. Emile Broussard III on the River Parish's Transit Authority. And that passes unanimously. A resolution appointing a member of the River Parish's Transit Authority. This is just an announcement. Sponsors are Mr. Mobley, Ms. Fonseca, Ms. Wilson, Ms. Skiba, Mr. Pillier, Mr. Carmadel, Ms. O'Daniels, Mr. Fisher, and Ms. DeBrouillet. On Monday, January 26th, 2026, Council Chairman will accept nominations to the River Parish's Transit Authority to Parish Council, to fill the vacancy caused by the resignation of the term of Mr. Emile Broussard. 1 member appointed by the Parish Council chosen from a list of nominees, 1 submitted by the River Region Chamber of Commerce, and 1 submitted by the AFL-CIO. Term to begin immediately and expire January 9th, 2028. Term is concurrent with the governing authority. All right, meetings, announcements, notices, etc. Coastal Zone Advisory Committee, Tuesday, January 13th, 26, 12 p.m., Council Chambers. Community Action Advisory Board, Wednesday, January 14th, 5 p.m., Council Chambers. Board of Adjustment, ZBA, Thursday, January 15th, 6 p.m., Council Chambers. Library Board of Control, Tuesday, January 20th, 6 p.m., Council Chambers. Pontchartrain Levy District, Tuesday, January 20th, 6 p.m., Pontchartrain Levy District Headquarters Complex, 2069 Railroad Avenue in Lutcher. St. Charles Parish Council, Monday, January 26th, Council Chambers, 6 o'clock. Announcements. Parish Holiday, Monday, January 19th, 2026, Martin Luther King Jr. Day. Special matters to be considered by the Council. 2026-006, appointment of chairman to the Operations, Maintenance, and Construction Management Committee. And the council chairman shall name a councilman to act as that position, chairman of the Operations, Maintenance, and Construction Management Committee, per Council Rule 32. I served in that capacity. I would like to continue serving in that capacity. 2026-007, appointment of chairman to the Legislative Committee. Council chairman shall name a councilman to act as chairman of the Legislative Committee per the Parish Council Rule 32. Mr. Fisher is serving in that capacity, and I'd like him to continue doing so. 2026-008, appointment of chairman to the Contract, Finance, and Administrative Committee. Council chairman shall name a councilman to act as chairman of the Contract, Finance, and Administrative Committee per Parish Council Rule 32. Miss Michelle O'Daniels is serving in that capacity. I'd like to have her continue doing so. 2026-009, appointment of chairman to the Special Projects, Public Safety, Health, and Environmental Committee. Council chairman shall name a councilman to act as chairman of the Special Projects, Public Safety, Health, and Environmental Committee per Parish Council Rule 32. Mr. Carmadell is serving in that capacity. I'd like to have him continue to do so. 2026-0010, appointment of chairman to the Hurricane Protection Projects Committee. Council chairman shall name a councilman to act as chairman of the Hurricane Protection Projects Committee per Parish Council Rule 32. Ms. Fonseca is serving in that capacity, and I'd like for her to continue doing so. Adjournment. A motion and a second is needed to adjourn. Motion by Ms. O'Daniels, seconded by Mr. Fisher. Please cast your vote. And that passes unanimously. Have a great evening. We're officially adjourned. And I survived.